I'm telling you, that never gets old. I I mean to tell you, it just sounds like something is about to go down, don't it? I love it. It never ever gets old. Let's hear the ending part one more time, okay? Dun 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 dun. I love that. I love that. That is just so cool. Um yes, one more time, one more time. Just the ending part, one more time. Dun dun dun. Woo! Yes, yes, that always makes me happy. Um, Especially the part about the young handsome virgin. Anybody knows me know that I'm not young. Let me see here. Hey, SAS, thank you so much for being here first. And Berta Sanchez is here. Let's see who else is here. Oh, let me put this up here first. Okay, can you guys hear me okay? I was fooling around with the microphone today, and I just want to make sure that the huh, is that the right one? Yes, I think it is. USB. Yeah, I think we're good. Huh, really? Then what is that? Okay. All right, but I think we're good. All right. So good, so right to be with you tonight. Hey, Adrian Burrow, Elaine Parker, Connie Bomber, maybe. Yeah, Connie Bomber's probably still here. It took me a while to get on, so I thought maybe a few people may have left already, but I appreciate y'all being here. Hey, Lydia, uh, Marcy Foreman. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. It's like it's Christmas again. I'm like, I thought Christmas was like a few weeks ago, but it's like Christmas is here again. I get to drag the Doolittles. Okay, so we worked out a lot of the book stuff, but I still, I hadn't decided how to do this, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. I hope I got this right too. But I think there are four additional books to give away, for someone who doesn't have it and really, really need it. So I'm just going to say the first four people who get to my email, um, we might be able to help you. Does that sound logical, Lydia? Oh, let me see here. Oh, okay. All right. All right. So someone did just email me a little while ago, but you need to tell us how to send it to you. Well, we got your email then, right? All right. So I guess that works. But anyway, so that's one. So I got three more. Let me see here. I'll make that one, and then there's three more. So let me get the email for you. I'll put the email up. And then for those who really, really are having a difficult time getting the book and really, really, really would like to have one, please uh, go ahead and email me and we'll make that happen. Okay. So, oh, wait a minute. Am I doing it right, Lydia? I wasn't supposed to do that, was I? Oh, you're gonna add details in the chat. Okay. Lydia's gonna add some details in the chat. Okay. So I don't need to do anything, right? Okay. All right. So that'll work that out. And thank you so much. Yeah, and then whatever you add, I can just highlight it. All right. So that's good, I think. Jacqueline, hello, Jacqueline Squash. Okay. Good, good, good. All right. So you know what's so funny though is that this image of William and Cate, that's actually their engagement. Okay, so I took a little license with it. I wasn't satisfied that he had just a little bit of hair on the top. So I had to kind of smooth it out so it looks more, you know, authentic to the William that we see today, because at that point it was still going south. So I decided to use a little sleight of hand and smooth it out myself. Now it's as shiny as the lens of the Hubble telescope. And as for Cate, I didn't have to do anything. I mean, both of those poor souls are suffering from premature aging. So I didn't really need to do anything. I just smooth out that little top up there. And then the rest of it is the way I found it. But it's a great likeness. And as you can see, this, as well as many other images that I have seen satirized, if you will, or illustrated, they always remember to throw the yellow teeth in there. I mean, how how could you be a public figure and that's not a thing? That just doesn't bother you at all. It reminds me of that Austin Powers movie where they kept making reference to his teeth, and he was like, "Yeah, baby." Oh man. So anyway, but I suppose he has a good humor about it, or maybe he just doesn't pay attention to that stuff. But either way, um, a face, red heart. Oh, wait, is that what is that one? Let me see here. Oh, okay, that's not for me. All right. So anyway, invitation to a trap. I wonder. This is what, you know what, guys? I meant to talk about this yesterday. Do you remember when I had a space and it was blank and I was like, oh, I wonder what that was for? Well, I added the slide, but I didn't like lock it in there. And so this was not included, but this was the slide that was the blank white space yesterday. So there you have it. Charles wants Harry to attend his coronation. The king asked Justin Welby to broker a deal allowing Duke and Meghan. Wait a minute. Uh, Duke and Duchess? Man, they are just allowing the Duke and Duchess to be at the historic ceremony, but William fears his brother will use the event to stage a stunt amid fallout from Memoir's Spare. Well, you guys, whatever is going on between them, everybody knows that the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, who who might take a bit of care to the way he has his pants tailored in the future. But Prince Harry, who has a great deal of respect for um, the um, the monarchy. Oh man, I'm being silly, but anyway, who has a great deal of respect for monarchy, will not let any feelings that he have overshadow the event. Thank you so much, Judy. Is it Muskets? Mook? Okay, wait. Mock Tosset, right? Mock Tosset. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. All right. Thank you very much. So, um, as I was saying, he has a respect for the uh, monarchy, so he's not going to pull some type of stunt. I don't. You know what? If they just go ahead and assure them that they're not going to pull the, oh, he's not wearing the cipher, he's not wearing his uniform. All of these things could have just happened without the public humiliation. And I'm going to cover that later because I'm going to show you a great example of that public humiliation. Although I'm kind of preaching to the choir because you guys have seen many examples of it. So it's not like there's a whole lot I can share with you that you have not seen already. But I'm just going to use it as an example why it's probably better for them to just stay home. I don't know what level of negotiation would make this logical, considering you still have the tabloid press and the rancor that comes from all of the hostility that they stir up is what could potentially be an issue of security for them, because those very fragile minded and evil individuals out there have been given their marching orders by the tabloid press. So, and plus, I don't want to see the Sussexes get hit by any eggs because they might be trying to throw an egg at somebody else, and I just don't want them. I don't want them to be caught in the crossfire from Camilla. Oh God, I hope those eggs were organic. I don't want them to get caught in the crossfire from somebody throwing eggs at the newly minted, or should I say, newly crowned king. Is Charles the one that draws the most heat? Lydia says, "Thank you, Sister, for the kind book donation." Oh, yes. Thank you, Sistren. Thank you. Sistren is the one sponsoring the books for today. So thank you, Sistren, and thank you so much for being so thoughtful to your fellow squaddies. That is excellent. 4 books are going to find a great home. I love that. 4 opportunities for people to share in this huge moment for the Duke of Sussex. So thank you very much, sister. And thank you as always for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. Let me see. Archbishop. Oh, okay. Thank you. Wanda Valentine says Archbishop should tell Charles to pick up the telephone and call his son. A bit of pastoral advice. Yeah. Yeah, but then again, Archbishop Welby is probably going to turn around and tell the press, I didn't tell him to do that. I merely, right? Isn't it the same Archbishop Welby who said, I only performed one wedding ceremony? So I don't trust him either. I tell you what, they need to bring Bishop Curry along. I kind of feel like they need to bring a Chicago bishop with them to, give them a little plain talk on their behalf. That's who they need to broker the deal. Never mind Welby. I don't like him. Have Bishop Curry get involved. Um, yeah, I trust Bishop Curry. I don't trust Bishop Welby. Okay, let me see here. All right, I'm just opening up another screen so I can see what you all are seeing in real time. There we go. So, Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex and being a member of Royal Sussex. Okay, make this screen a little bigger. There we go. Perfect. Perfection. Okay. Oh, okay. Jennifer Clark, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. Hey, Big Mama. Big Mama says they said Meghan and Harry might do a walkabout and upstage the coronation. Oh, Big Mama, don't make me start getting like shady, I guess. No, not shady. But yeah, I don't, what am I trying to say? How am I feeling right now? Anyway, I guess shade is right. Um, ooh, I would love that. I would love to see William's pathetic face looking much like he does in this photo right now when he sees that all eyes are on his brother and nobody gives a toss about the fact that he's there. Oh my goodness, I would love that. Oh, there goes that sinister laugh. Woo! Oh, don't make me think about that because then I'm going to start saying, oh, yeah, they should go. But I almost forgot about that. It's that walk through the Abbey that is going to be awful for William and Cate. That would be just be terrible. Yeah, they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't do that. Um, Baron, out of respect for his mom, he shouldn't attend. He shouldn't watch a crown being put on Camilla's head. You know, you got a good point there. You have an excellent point. That is something to think about because it is such a betrayal to Diana that this event is happening with a woman who did everything she could to conspire along with Charles to make her life miserable. And of course, as Diana's brother says, you can draw a direct line between meeting, what was his name from Panorama, and the day she died. Well, I can say you can draw a direct line from the king and queen consort to the day she died. I like a line too, but my line is a little longer. Thank you so much, Rosalind. Let's see. Grace Bedell, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Fran Cody says, Baron, I hope that Harry and Meghan don't go to the coronation. I hope they remember how they were treated at the Queen's funeral. I don't think any of us will ever forget that. Yeah, I don't know if there's enough negotiation in the world to avoid that because it was the briefing to the tabloids that made that possible. I still say, I said it then and I'll say it now. There's no way in the world that anybody would have noticed the insignia on that uniform, the cipher, was missing. And as far as we know, that cipher, and Harry hasn't addressed it, but that cipher could have been back in Montecito in a drawer somewhere. That cipher could have been at the Frogmore Cottage in a box that was unlabeled or whatever. The ciphers could have been anywhere. I really doubt that they refused to allow him to wear the Queen's cipher. That was just ridiculous, but it was enough of a story to humiliate him at his grandmother's funeral. So I would say that, along with, of course, the Countess of Wessex, Miss I Will Never Be a Duchess, along with that glare of hers, those were like, well, and then of course there was the walkabout, among other things. So it's a lot of things that I feel made this horrible event even worse. And that was because of bullying and harassment from that family. So um, that the House of Windsor may crumble someday gives me pleasure following that. So, but if Harry thinks that they have a place in the modern world, fine. I do not. But of course, that being said, Harry would also like for them to modernize and pretty much save themselves from ruin. Mad World says British media tabloids need to make up their minds. They keep changing their stories. Just last week, it was said, I'm sorry, it was alleged that the is it Prime Minister wasn't going to invite Harry and Meghan. Before that, it was the mayor, but that was a no go. So when you say the mayor, now is that the mayor of London, the city, or the town of London? Which mayor would it be? Because the city, what is his name? Sadiq? Would it be Sadiq's call, or would it be the other mayor of London? Because it's the city of London and the town of London, and I think the old town of London is a square mile inside of the city of London, and I know that's the area where the Queen had to ask permission to go into that part of town. So, is that where Westminster Abbey is located? I've never known the difference. But the idea that he would have to ask permission, very strange, very, very strange. Um, wow, I that's a lot to unpack, isn't it? Or they can just stay home and watch with the rest of us. Let me see here. Okay. Hey, B10. B10 says they should not attend the coronation. I cannot stand the fact that the haters will have the opportunity for the firm and tabloids to try and humiliate the Sussexes. That is my concern. That is definitely my concern because they were fearless about going after them at the Jubilee and then at the Queen's funeral, and of course, Harry with Philip's funeral and everything in between. So, with this being a moment to bring everyone together, if it's only going to push, you know, both sides that much further apart, it would probably be best to just leave it alone. I mean, if you really want to make an impact, your conspicuous absence would say more than anything else in this world. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna do some scrolling here, you guys. Then I'm gonna move on as well. Hey, Puzzle Dot. Uh, and did I see Mo Shannon here? Hey, Mo Shannon. Thrive with Stride is here. Let's see who else is here. Ann Fu. Hey, Ann Fu. Joseph Burno, Black Queen. Olivia Harris. Um, Anastasia Isabella. Hey. Wow, a lot of comments I missed. A lot. Okay. 1960. Oh, that makes two of us. Um, but aren't they begging them to come, though, through all of these British media tabloid pieces? Why is there a report on the Daily Mail? Is that maybe Harry already said no? Oh, oh, you know what? This is what I love about the squad. The squad detective agency always finds an angle. I didn't think about that. Maybe he already said no. But I remember Harry said that he was leaving the door open when he spoke in one of those interviews. He said he's leaving the door open and the ball is in their court. So I believe that means that it's for them to say no. If I'm interpreting that right, I believe that means that they have to say no, not Harry. So he said the ball was in their court. So if it's anything to do with that, then maybe that's what it's based upon. Interesting though. Okay, so oh man. Oh, wait a minute. I can do that a different way. Uh oh, okay. Yeah, well, this works. The king has asked Archbishop of Canterbury to broker a deal to allow Harry to attend his coronation, but has met resistance from William. Maybe they want to blame it on William. The Mail on Sunday can reveal Charles wants Justin Welby to strike an agreement with his warring sons. Oh, so Charles is putting it on the boys that would allow Harry and his wife, Meghan, to attend the Westminster Abbey ceremony in May. Senior sources close to Lambeth Palace. Lambeth Palace? What is that? Oh, is that where the Archbishop stays? Uh, speculate Speculations has been rife about whether the Sussexes would attend the high-profile event since they stepped away from royal duties, and especially since the publication of Harry's tell-all memoir, Spare. Wait. Especially since the publication of Harry's tell-all memoir, Spare. It doesn't say bombastic. It doesn't say explosive. What's another word it's not saying? Hostile. It's not using any of that. It's just saying tell all. They must want them to. They must really want them to come. It doesn't say any of that usual stuff. You know, that the torpedo, the bomb, bombastic, um, yeah, bombshell. It doesn't say any of that. Do you think Lord Nappyhead wants them to be there? Wait, where is it? Wow, that's strange. Okay, let me do that one more time. Um, Harry's tell-all memoir, Spare. Oh, it's not there. That's interesting. Earlier this month, that contained a string of wounding. Oh, there it is. Wounding attacks. I knew it had to be somewhere. Wounding. I knew it had to be there somewhere. I was getting too happy. Wounding attacks on senior members of the royal family. The king is said to believe that the couple's absence would be a greater distraction from their presence, so is prepared to make concessions to persuade them to attend. But William is understood to be concerned that his brother would use the event to stage a stunt that would overshadow the event. Okay. Well, at least I know I'm not losing my mind. I knew it had to be something. So, wounding. Where is that at? Where did I see that? No, I don't see it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. A wounding attacks. There it is. I knew it was somewhere. I was just like, wait a minute. This is too polite. This is too polite. That doesn't sound like the Daily Mail. Okay, so all right, so no bombshell, but it was a wounding attack. I'm surprised it didn't say a sustained wounding attack or a malicious. They'll do that next time. They'll do that next time. I knew something was missing. I'm just like, wait, this is too polite. Baron, they need the Duke and Duchess to attend. They have to try to show a strong reason to keep the royal family relevant. The king needs to show even good treatment toward his. Well, okay. Um, Charles is going to pull the doting father again, right? He's going to say, well, I've always left the door open to my dear boy, my darling boy. If you just please come to Camilla, Camilla. I asked him. I said, my darling boy, let's forget about the past. So yeah, you know he's gonna pull that my darling boy stuff. You know he's gonna unpack my darling boy, blah 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 blah, just like he did for the Christmas speech. We love Harry and Meghan, my darling boy and his wife in California. Yeah, he's gonna pull that darling boy stuff, and it's gonna make him look like the benevolent ruler as opposed to the what is that word that, oh, look like there's a, oh, 2 months membership. Maybe Charles decided to invite the Sussexes to the coronation after the UK government threw back the hot potato of, uh-oh, disinvited them. I trust nothing. Exactly. Exactly. So uh, Charles tried to leave it to the government, and then the government threw it back to him. Interesting. All right, so this is what one of the squaddies posted on Twitter. Charles wants Harry to attend his coronation. The king asked Justin Welby to broker a deal allowing the Duke and Meghan to be at historic ceremony, but William fears his brother will use this event to stage a stunt amid fallout from Memoir Spare. But then also, let me see, what's the difference here? That was the 28th at 1704. And then by 1715, the same day this comes out, Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, has fallen under the spell of Harry and Meghan, says palace sources. Damn it, there goes the palace sources again. Now, you know, if it's a palace source, that means that it was Camilla. 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 Oh, woo. Camilla. Oh, boy, my allergies. You know that means it was a Camilla palace source. Sorry about that, my allergies. Archbishop of Canterbury's relationship with Harry and Meghan has deepened. Has it really? Has it really? Wait a minute. Who's saying it's deepened? Why would they even talk to him? What is this that his relationship has deepened with the Sussexes? Justin Welby clearly had a lot of sympathy for them over that M word I don't use. A source said King has asked Welby to broker a deal to allow Sussexes to be at his coronation. They so full of it. Oh man. Okay. So King Charles may be about to break his silence on Prince Harry as he prepares to do a landmark BBC interview. Oh, wait, I forgot. Barbara Walters has been deceased for a month, so I can say that in my Barbara Walters voice. King Charles may be about to wake his violence on Winsweary as he prepares to do a landmark wee wee see interview. I forgot. We are past our mourning period. I can do my Barbara Walters voice again. Oh man. But yeah, so I believe that Charles is going to sit down and do an interview. Again, he's going to pull that darling boy. He's going to do all that darling boy stuff to win people's sympathy. It worked in the past when he claimed that he took his son to a rehab or had someone take his son to a rehab. So if it worked then, it should work now. All he has to do is downplay his malicious nature until after the coronation. He could go back to briefing behind the scenes, or Camilla can brief them behind the scenes, or whoever's doing it. But he needs to seem above the fray. If he's going to have any type of integrity or moral authority, he has to seem above the fray. So I do believe that there is going to be an interview with Charles and that he wants to pave the way for his coronation to be as big an event as possible. But if you look at those recent polls that have just come out, the young people, who is the future of the monarchy, the young people are not likely to have show any interest at all. he needs Harry and Meghan. They don't need to be there. He needs them to be there. So, um, yeah, that's what I think. He needs Harry and Meghan to be there to lend a certain level of legitimacy to his coronation. Otherwise, it is going to be that, thing that nobody's talking about. So, yeah, I believe that he will. I believe he's going to do an interview, and I also believe that they will talk them into showing up. Now, one of the things that, well, you know what, I don't want to say publicly what may be used as leverage by either side, but there may be some leverage on either side. I'll just say that to get them to show up. Now, some of you all may know what that leverage is, and some of you may not. But for the time being, just keep it to yourself, and we'll, maybe talk about that another time. But there is a certain level of leverage that can be used more than just an appearance. All right? Right. Okay, I think we all understand. Let me see. Lydia says he will plan a family birthday party to sweeten the deal for the family. So you think Charles is going to take off the golden crown and put on a paper crown? And you think we'll have some pictures of Charles on his coronation day, wearing a little paper crown or a little pointy hat or something like that for Archie? You think he'll have a little tiger or something painted on his face to wish Archie a happy birthday? They'll have the face painting, and they'll have clowns. All they have to do is invite Boris Johnson. They can But you know what? You know what? That is interesting. I was thinking of something a little more compelling than that. But okay, let's stay with that one for right now. So, um, but I'm telling you guys, I promise you, when you guys hear him say "darling boy," remember I said that he is going to throw "darling boy" in there somewhere because it was in spare, and that's going to make him look better. So I guarantee you, he's going to throw "darling boy," my darling boy. Oh yeah, he's gonna throw a few of those in there. My darling boy, watch it. They're throwing eggs. Oh my God, I hope those eggs are organic. Camilla, I just told my darling boy they're throwing eggs. Oh man. Claire Kane in the house. What's up, Claire? Let me see. Yep, I hope Harry plays hardball. His security situation hasn't been resolved. Exactly. Exactly. Although for that event, of course he's going to get full-fledged security. And the tabloids, they like to do this like wordplay where they say that, oh, you mean to tell me he wouldn't be safe at a time like that? That is not the issue. The issue is he should have that same level of security whenever he comes and goes from the United Kingdom. They don't want him to have security because they don't want the Sussexes to have the ability to attend charity functions and events and whatever else that they may choose to do. They don't want them to go to a birthday party for anyone or to a wedding. Anything that what would give them the same level of security as the any other senior member of the royal family. They just don't want them to have that because it will help govern whether or not the Sussexes actually return to the UK or how often they return to the UK. So that is the little game that they're playing. Camilla. Kate Middleton and Prince William wore matching outfits for the first engagement following Spare. Now, you guys, I want you to remember how this whole train wreck started. It all started with Big Face William and Big Face Cate with their big faces coming out dressed like Harry and Meghan, matching outfits. She even wore that same tweed coat or tartan coat, just like Meghan, with the trousers, of course. Very signature Meghan. She had a coat similar to this, but it was a Mary Poppins cut. So when Meghan came along, she ditched the Mary Poppins and got herself a nice, long coat as opposed to the other. And so now she can cosplay Meghan, right? And of course, they're matching, something that they didn't normally do, but because of the influence of Sussexes and the way that impact people, now they want in on it, right? So it all started with this. And then, of course, they even had selfies. Now, William looked like he just escaped the nut house, and Cate looks like she just got through sucking on a helium balloon. But the two of them are even doing selfies, right? Now, this is a big no no. This is when I knew that they were in it to win it because the royal family are banned from taking selfies as Queen disapproves of disrespectful trend. And so, for that reason, they avoided the selfies. But now, every time you turn around, they got their face up in yarn. Always got their face up in yarn trying to take a selfie. Yeah, I'll take a selfie. Or as Cate would say, huh? What? Maybe, maybe we'll take a selfie. Oh, a selfie. Yes, maybe. She throw an extra B or two in there. So yes, maybe be a selfie, and so anyway, she'll throw a few of those maybe BBBs in there and take a selfie. They don't normally do that, but she decided that she would take a selfie. He wanted to take a selfie. They can't get enough selfies and hugs. They're hugging people too. I mean, they're hugging people, taking selfies and all kind of stuff, right? Now, if they start reaching in their pockets and pulling out hand warmers, then I know they're copying Meghan. All right, so maybe we'll move on. And then, of course, they ducked out of there. Look at them just smiling and grinning, so full of themselves. Like, woo, wow. Too bad we got to do this again tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And this, when I saw them leave out looking like this, I say this is not going to end well because number one, they're not used to doing work. And number two, the easiest way to hurt yourself is to try to be someone you're not. And so when I saw them duck out of there, I said, okay, you'll be sorry. You'll be sorry. You're going to be crying like a rat eating onions. You'll be sorry. Well, and then if that's not enough, Cate had the nerves to try to slip a little poison in there. Talking therapy don't work for everyone. Oh, and of course the press assumes that she was talking about Harry. Yeah, this was supposed to be like a mental health thing, and the so-called child care expert, Dr. Joyce Jazz Hands, decided that she would use this occasion to, throw a few barbs at Harry. Well, she did. So the press caught wind of it, and of course, it was scripted because there's no way in the world that she would remember to say that and then to say it properly on top of that. She had to have one of her aides slip her a little index card and either that or they, just told someone to say that that's what they heard. But anyway, because otherwise, her. Maybe talk therapy doesn't be what. I just I just couldn't imagine her trying to slip something like that out there where anybody could articulate what she said and then repeat it to someone else. I just cannot picture that happen. So they must have just planted that story. Maybe it was a Palace Insider or something. But I doubt if she said that on the way out and anybody could actually understand what she said. So maybe she said it or maybe they planted it. I can't be sure. But then, of course, you could tell she was up to no good because look at how she looking at the camera. Look how she looking at the camera. She knew she was up to something, and so she made sure she gave the camera the old glance. That always happens when they're cosplaying and being phony. And then, of course, leave it to Scotland. Leave it to Scotland, the nation that declared, Andrew, you're a sicko man, Scotland. The Scottish National was just not having it. The Scottish National yesterday ran an article. Scottish writer Billy Kay tweeted, um, Wade, Wade, this no ye the dry book. Now I guess that's Gaelic or something like that. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure they're saying this was just a photo op. That's what that means. That's Gaelic for photo op. Wade, this Nogi Yay, the dry brook. Yeah, that means ain't they just doing a photo op? I'm sure that that's what it means. So and then another Twitter user said, how do they not realize how offensive and insensitive this is? Multimillionaires funded by the public visiting a food bank is obscene. And then another person added, one person, let me see what it says there. Oh, such a shock and surprise a effing camera crew were there. This country is so broken. The future king exploiting the poverty of peasants for a photo op. I mean, it got really serious, you guys. I don't know if y'all are, well, I know a lot of y'all are not on Twitter for the sake of your, you know, what do you call it, for your mental health, but it was nonstop yesterday, and a lot of it was not even coming from squatties. I would love to say that this was just squatties that was dragging. This was some of them were royalists. There's even an OBE I'm going to share with you later. Princess Kate and William arrived empty-handed to visit a Windsor food bank. Now that was from Kaiser of Celibacy. You know Kaiser had to drag them, but they do that anyway. Kaiser always finds the most devilish looking photos or the most beguiling photos of those two, well, actually, of anybody in the family, especially Camilla. Camilla, Camilla, do you see the photo that they use? It's just ghastly, Camilla. Okay, so thanks to you, tax-paying public. Is that what that means? Public plebs, public. Um, Us royals won't be going hungry or cold this winter. Well, I love this. I don't know if this is a Cold War Steve image or not, but I do know I love it. And yes, you can see the disparity between people in Kensington Palace, amongst other homes, that are living in the lap of luxury. And then there are some people in the shadow of some of these homes, even in Windsor, that are homeless. So I would say William drives past them every day, but you and I both know that he flies over them every day. And of course, feeling trapped. Now, this undoctored un photoshopped image of Cate shows the strain when she wasn't laughing her head off at the food pantry, or should I say, when people said something that seemed like it involved math or, real life. She started getting that look on her face. Um, but these are just a few of the images, or two of the images that people were posting on Twitter yesterday. People were actually shocked by her appearance. And this is not her fault. This is the tabloids. Because they so often airbrush her image, it's going to be occasions like the food bank when the lighting is not adequate, when she doesn't have, a court photographer, but actually has just, a regular pool camera snapping or recording her image. And when that happens, this is the results. This is the real Cate. The real Cate is 41 years old and looking all the worse for wear because the strain of this situation with the Sussexes is wearing her down. If they didn't drive the Sussexes, if they didn't bully them out of the country, then there would be someone else, there to do this workload, because nobody's interested in the Wessexes. I'm just going to tell you that. And there's a few other minor royals, the Gloucesters, the Kents. Um, Nobody's interested. And Zara, the tongue ring Tyndall, well, you can't have the Queen's granddaughter talking to people and her tongue ring is showing. So that's out. And of course, Beatrice and Eugenie, well, Charles excluded them before they even got started. So the two people that could help ease this burden, remember, they drove them out the country. They literally bullied and coerced them into leaving Kensington Palace and ultimately leaving the country with all of the briefing to the press. And so she has nobody to blame but herself, and of course, William. And then right here. So Richard Palmer says, so I'm not quite clear why there has been so much bile directed at William and Cate online. It's almost as if it's a coordinated by fans of the Sussexes or cyber warrior groups. Really, Richard K? I think that you would have some intimate knowledge about where this is coming from, just as much as you should have intimate knowledge about where the opposite is coming from. I mean, in so many cases, your tweets are retweeted by some of the most vicious people out there, so you should know where it's coming from, or at least have an idea how it happens. The only thing is, what's happening from our side of things is organic. It's not a sustained attack. And I'm telling you guys, as much as I depend on Twitter, I rarely ever make comments toward anybody. I post some of the photos and such that I have, I repost articles. I don't go after anybody. So there's, not a trail of me talking to someone who is some type of, on a hate campaign. I don't see the Sussex Squad as part of any type of hate campaign. I see the Sussex Squad as people who, out of the kindness of their heart, saw an injustice and, as they say, saw a wrong and wanted to right it, saw war and tried to stop it, and saw sickness and tried to heal it. That's what I see. But this version that he has come up with, cyber warriors and such, I don't see it that way. I see a lot of receipts coming out of the Sussex Squad that I see, but that's it. And but I mean, take a look at this. Take a look at the photos. Um, Rather than blaming the Sussex Squad, look at what she's doing. She's wearing stilettos. She's wearing big leg pants, a very smart jacket. Yeah, and she's wearing a matching turtleneck. I mean, she looks like she should be entering a corporate boardroom or something, not going to volunteer at a pantry. And even if she did work at a corporation, how many people shows up to work with 9 journalists, photographers, and a videographer? This was staged and it backfired. Get used to it. It backfired epically. It's just normal scrutiny when it's done to Meghan and Harry, but it's bile that's coordinated by their fans when it's done to William and Kate. So, in a red box, of course, I am quoting someone, I believe it's a squatty, and that was their comment toward Richard Kay. Harry and Meghan couldn't cope with the normal scrutiny that goes with being prominent royals, and those family rifts were real, as they now admit. But it was always their desire to go off to make money for commercial deals behind the split and their move to America. Now, he said that back in September of 2020. Fast forward to today. So I'm not quite clear why there has been so much bile directed at William and Kate. Well, same comment as before. Um, Richard Kay's comments, as I said, are talking points, are retweeted by some of those hate accounts and some of the derangers online. So again, I'm not saying that he plays any part in the more sinister side of things, but I'm just saying he is considered to be one of the standard bearers for the derangers, one of the people who helps to rally that side of the arguments. I don't think he's as bad as, say, Angela Levin, but he's got his moments too. So Meghan volunteered here in Toronto at a soup kitchen before she ever met Harry. She also had the food from the craft services from Suits delivered there daily. Yes, and expat lifestyle. I heard there was quite a bit of pushback from the people on the set who did not want to bother with it, and Meghan pushed the issue until they finally decided to cooperate, because they were throwing food out every day. And that's why Meghan was saying, we got all this food left over. It doesn't make sense. Now, if you guys have ever been in any type of television production or perhaps a movie production, I could tell you the one time where I was actually involved in something like that, there was a trailer with a chef, and whatever you wanted, somehow he could go in there and rattle them pots and pans and make it. There was all kind of food, more food than, I'm telling you, enough to feed an apartment building of food. And it just didn't make sense that you have this very well stocked kitchen on site where food is going to go into the garbage every day. I've seen this with my own eyes. So when they say there was always food left over and food thrown away, I don't, yeah, especially, actors, they don't eat that much. They don't eat that much. They're very conscious of what they eat and such. But as for the rest of the people on the crew, um, they eat from that same, place, the craft service. And then, if that's not enough, depending on what kind of work you're doing, you may actually get a per diem to take to lunch. They may give you a cash envelope and say, "Here, we're breaking for lunch." You've already got a banquet on wheels, and then they give you a per diem for lunch. So go figure. And I think lunch is like 3 hours. I'm telling you, it's fun to do stuff like that. Very, very relaxed. Is Most of it is just hurry up and wait. So when Meghan saw that, she was just like, wait a minute, why are we throwing all this food away? What's going to happen to this food? So good on her for that. Should be an industry standard to make sure that food goes to like a food shelter or whatever. So let's move on then. Now, one of the squatties was nice enough to put a collage together of some of the work that the Sussexes have done. You have the World Central Kitchen, you have the Homeboy Industry, and of course the Hub Kitchen. Let me see. And yeah, so I think that was. Oh, and then there's a picture of Meghan with the green arrow at the soup kitchen up in Toronto, where she put on a baseball cap and tried to be as inconspicuous and incognito as possible. Or, as we say in my neighborhood, incognito. She tried to be as incognito as possible. And it just goes to show that she wasn't there for show. There was no team of cameras and photographers and such trailing her. She wanted to make sure that she went there to do her fair share. So that's that. And thank you so much to the squatty that put this together. Please make sure you guys hit the like button. Also, make sure you share. And if you are not subscribed, please make sure that you are subscribed to Royal Sussex. If you're watching on television, you may have to do it, on your device, but make sure you are subscribed. It helps out so much. Greatly appreciate it. All right. So, as I said, the criticisms have been coming from all over the place. It was not limited to the food shelter or food bank, but it was also about the child care development. And this, I trust me when I say this was not a squatty. Just as I've seen people of all walks of life promoting spare, I have been also delighted by people of all walks of life who are not likely in the Sussex squad that are hypercritical. Well, I'm not going to say hypercritical because that means they are just being outrageous, but they have been very critical of not only the food bank photo op stunt, but also this child care initiative. What qualifies this woman who has never had a job and studied history of art at university qualified to make these judgments? And what solution is she proposing? And what amount of her vast wealth is she donating to the cause? Huh? Huh? Nothing. There's nothing because, as far as I've heard, that this initiative is just to bring awareness. It is not any place where you take a kid to get help for that child. This is only awareness. This is an opportunity for her to hold that black notebook and her opportunity to tell you, oh, by the way, maybe be the Harvard. What? Maybe a Harvard. What is she saying? She said she took that black notebook to Harvard. Oh, okay. Nice. Nice. I thought that's what you said. But yeah, it's her opportunity to tell you that she's been to Harvard, that she's actually used that same black notebook in Harvard University. That's why they went to Boston. Well, one of the reasons is so that she can go to Harvard, so she could tell people she actually has been to Harvard. That's why she has the black notebook. There is no real, useful or functional reason to have it other than street cred, as they say. She gets street cred for saying that she's actually been to Harvard. So, that being said, that same black notebook that she's been working out of probably since junior college, she still has it, that same notebook, so she can pretend like she actually has taken notes and have work to do. So, but yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting that this person just, went there. What qualifies her? Where does she get her qualifications? What does she propose? And is she providing any funding? Now, I was just shocked. I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, yes, yes, you tell her. Shelly L says she couldn't even bring a can of beans to a food bank. We already know that answer. Right? Not even a can of beans. And then too, when she was pushing that little trolley around, I'm pretty sure as soon as she left, they had to dump all the contents out the bag and then this time do it properly, because she was just there to laugh and pose and laugh some more. It's not like she was actually there to do anything. And the same for William. I don't want it to seem like I'm just picking on her, but the two of them, they're two of a kind. They're a double act. And both of them went there to cosplay. And then, of course, people started dragging them all over social media. Yep, cosplay, cosplay, cosplay. And this was one of the comments right here. Empty, what is that? Empty project? Empty visit. People need food, not 55-minute photo op visit. Cate doesn't know what the something she is talking about. As usual, these two are really missing the zeitgeist. So that was a comment from the Twitter yesterday. Oh, there we go. And of course, this was the headline for that Scottish newspaper. Humiliating. They should be embarrassed. They're probably not. And of course, they'll go sit at home and laugh and joke about it, but they really should be embarrassed. Okay. Let me see here. Oh, there we go. I wonder how is Richard Palmer making a living? I think he's taking bile in order to make a living himself. What a dunce. Oh man. Well, there's so much of it running into the ocean. Guys, I France 24, they did a story about Brexit, about the British economy, and it was very interesting. I don't even remember where I saw it, but it was a channel that I've never watched before. And this guy is English, but he actually translated the entire France 24 episode, which is only available in French, of course. It's not one of those English productions, but it's in French. And they had, like three or four correspondents and such that did like an hour long thing about what a failure Brexit has been and how devastating that all of this is. And I think that where the royal family is concerned, if they are going to face any type of unforeseen scrutiny in the near future, it is going to be because of the economy and the lavish lives that they lead. And so I don't think that this is only about spare. I think that all this extra work that the Welleses are doing right now, I think is in response to the economy, because you can't justify having that big coronation with I'm going to say the slowest growing economy in all of Europe. I think it is the slowest recovery from the pandemic. And of course, they have the government has tried to pass it off on the war in Ukraine, but that's not it. That is not it. The jobs, and there's only 3% unemployment, but the jobs just don't pay enough. And then there are some jobs available in the UK that have better salaries, but people are not trained for them. So they are in a tough situation, and they need to get people trained up, and they need to let some asylum seekers in. They need to get younger working people. And the whole thing with the NHS, the reason why they're trying to dump that NHS into the private sector is because the aging population will not make money to sustain the NHS, because older means that there's more illness for a lot of people, which means that, well, okay, I'll put it to you like this: from cradle to grave is the coverage, right? But the time you're going to use most of that coverage is coming into this world and going out of this world. I mean, it's just logical. That's what the math is. And during the middle of your life, you don't need as much. Most people won't. But by the end of your life, you may need the most expensive coverage that's available. And that's why they need to get a larger tax base of tax paying workers to help offset the expense of an aging society. That is the long and the short of it. Thank you so much, B10. And I think, is that a super chat? Oh, it's a super sticker. Delta, what is that? Delta, I know, Delta Sipfi. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Sunday to you. But yeah, you guys, it's a tragedy that is not the fault of people. It is the government, who I don't see as people, and it's those, you know, enablers to the government. In other words, the one percenters, the newspaper owners that are ruining the country for people, and that's too bad too. One of the biggest economies in the world is being torn to shreds because of the stuff that's going on um, in the wake of Brexit. Unfortunate. Something was working perfectly well, the European Union membership, and now it's going to take another 10 years before they can negotiate most of those trade deals in a way that is favorable to the people of Britain. Another 10 years. And even if they went back in, which the European Union don't even want them, because there's still a huge part of the population that doesn't want to go back. And as long as you have a threat of another referendum, the European Union is just like, uh, that's okay. We'll make it. Thanks anyway. We're all right. But Scotland and Northern Ireland, curiously enough, most of the votes that were voting to stay was Scotland and Northern Ireland. Those are the people that wanted to stay. TCC Son says, I will not look at the coronation unless they are actually participating in the ceremony. Prince Harry and Princess Meghan just walking in church, sitting down. British media continue to abuse them. No ratings for abuse. They don't like Americans anyway. Well, I'm sure they don't like me. Oh man, TCC Son, I have seen in the comments where someone says, how dare you speak about Britain? You're not even British. And I'm just like, and how dare you send an army of royalist writers to America to write about America? They're not even Americans. But I have to suffer through that every day. I have to see the first Black president humiliated. I have to see the first woman vice president humiliated. I have to witness a lot of other people that I love and admire humiliated every day and made to look a buffoon in the British media. And there's nothing I can say about it. So, how dare you question me for having my thoughts and opinions about Britain, a place where I have spent a small fortune to visit. I think I'm entitled to my feelings. So, but yes, thank you so much, TCC Son. You make a very, very good point about that. I'm gonna watch regardless whether they're there or not. I'm gonna watch anyway, but I totally understand anyone who says that they are not going to watch it. You could always, I mean, if there's anything interesting that happens, if there's any type of slander or something like that, or let's be optimistic and say if there is some great acknowledgement or something positive that happens, in all unlikelihood, of course, then you'll see that later. So it's nothing, it's not like it's anything that is unscripted. So if you've watched a state funeral, you pretty much have seen a coronation. It's more of the same. Everything is scripted. There's not going to be, like Gladys Knight coming out and singing Midnight Train to High Grove. You're not going to get anything like that. So, um, on that midnight train to High Grove, leaving on the midnight train. Yeah. Ooh, y'all. Or that midnight plane to Dumfries. Leaving on the midnight plane. Yeah. Woo-hoo. I'd rather take his bag of cash than live without him, 'cause my cash is his and mine alone. Who knows? When you get to High Grove, there may be a bag of cash waiting for you. But yeah, TCC Son, I totally understand, and you are very right to feel that way. But um, I, given everything that has happened, given that family, that institution, or even, God help us, the British media, another chance, they don't deserve another chance. They really don't. They do not deserve another chance. They had an opportunity several times since the Sussexes have left to turn down the dial on the vitriol, and they have chosen to go to the darkness. And not just the tabloid media, but Kensington Palace, Buckingham Palace, and Clarence House, whatever, they've all gone to the dark side, and deliberately so. They couldn't even bury the queen without showing the world how nasty and filthy and sick they are. So totally understood. Thank you so much, TCC Son, and thank you so much for being a member, and thank you so much for the super chat. But yeah, a lot of, if the worst happens, and whatever that worst is, to that institution, I'm just going to say to the institution, up until the point that the institution just collapsed in on itself, it is what they ask for. Because any institution that bully and berates people like that, in modern times, does not deserve to exist. Any institution that is capable of such evil and hostility does not deserve to exist. As a matter of, just it's what is it, tradition. If it's just a matter of tradition, I'm sorry, but it doesn't deserve to exist. We're in modern times. We have put a man on the moon. We carry more knowledge in our cell phones at our fingertips than the Library of Alexandria. And in these modern days, there's no need for a royal family. There's no need for that type of hierarchy. No need for it. That mediocrity can go, and it's what they deserve, because it's an evil, rotten bitter, nasty institution. Okay, so Claire Hepworth, OBE. Now, let me tell you something. This lady is quite vocal, and I've been covering up names of people. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. You're right, too. Adulterers, two adulterers. Thank you. Uh, how could I be so careless to miss the adulterer angle? Yes, and two adulterers on the throne. But yeah, so Claire Hepworth, she's very vocal, and she doesn't mind taking people to the night water. Now, I didn't get a chance to go back and investigate all of her Twitter activity. Of course, I'm always looking to see where they stand with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I didn't actually see any mention of them, but Claire says the most gut wrenching, sickening post imagine across my I'm sorry, image across my timeline today is a photo of the uber privileged Prince and Princess of Wales visiting a food bank. Noblesse oblige. In other words, the great and the good patronizing the poor. So, as I understand noblesse oblige, it means that the rich man should be the one to pay. The rich man should give the most. He who is rich ought to give the noble, as in, wealthy, privileged person, and oblige, as in obligated. Okay? So, noblesse oblige. Um, and she's right. It was sickening. It was gut wrenching. It's embarrassing. They should be embarrassed. That was embarrassing. And that they, who are supposed to be of superior mind and intellect, decided that that was a good idea, just goes to show you how woefully inadequate they are, not just as, the future king and queen, but as human beings. They're lacking so much. They have no intellectual curiosity whatsoever. They are literally led by a lead, like a pet, like a marionette. They just pose and go through the motions. And that's why I said the other day, this is not going to last. They cannot sustain this. Now, I didn't know that they would, disintegrate within a few days. I didn't know that they would disintegrate in just a couple days. I mean, I have to say, they went down faster than I gave them credit for. Shelley L said they should not go. The fact that William even mentioned a stunt being pulled makes me think he's projecting and is the one who's actually planning something. Ooh, Shelley L. Now that's a good one. Man, I didn't think about that. Did not think about that. Did not think about that. So you think it's gonna be like what's that movie? Trading Places. Remember when Dan Aykroyd tried to plant all that stuff on uh, Billy Ray Valentine? Remember that? You think it's gonna be like that? He's gonna try to do a Winthorpe Billy Ray Valentine and start planting stuff. Oh man. Now, you know what? As I'm thinking trading places, I would love to see something like that happen to William. I mean, he already likes to sleep on the street rough with a black man, so he's already have, dabbled in the other side of things. So he's used to sleeping rough and just happens to be with a black man. But yeah, I would love to see them do old Billy Ray Valentine on him. Yeah, with what is it, Don Amici and Ralph Bellamy in the background. I don't know who would be Ralph. Maybe you and I, Shelley, we can be Don Amici and Ralph Bellamy. We'll make a bet, $1. that if we take away everything William has, that he will end up sleeping rough with a black man on the streets. I like to. I'd wager that to you. Uh, but you know, Shelly L, with all seriousness, I think you have really hit the nail on the head. That makes so much sense. Makes me think about it. Thank you so much for your comment. And let's see. Uh, Iswa Smile says, Baron, you have, let me see, have you seen the clip of Camilla appearing to mock? Yes, I did see that. I saw that earlier where she touched her stomach, one of her udders or whatever. Well, it could have been her stomach, but I told you I suspected that certain parts of her is tied into her waistband. So, but yeah, I did see that. I did see that. That was you know, I would love to think it was just an innocent gesture, but then she leans in and says something in confidence to Cate. And yeah, it does look bad for her. But yes, I did see that. Thank you so much for your comment. Okay. So oh, Diane Hawkins. Diane says, when the Sussexes ever pull, I'm sorry, when have the Sussexes ever pulled a stunt? That's what clown unroyals do. Harry told World ball in court. Yes, told the world that the ball is in their court. Better do the right by his wife, apologize, and don't start no more SHIT. Very, very true. Don't start none, there won't be none. Okay. Now, there we go. Oh, you know what? I'm on the wrong. There we go. I need to go back here. So, wait. Oh, all right. I had that. Oh, okay. I know what I did here. So there is a little thing I made the other day of the Cambridges, now the Wellses, being handled by their puppeteers. And it seems as though the men in gray suits are the ones that seem to have all the authority with that family, not really Charles or William, although a lot of the dirty, seedy, nasty things that are leaked are, as far as I'm concerned, in reaction to not only them, but also Camilla. So I believe between the four of them, that curious quartet, they are the ones that have been briefing against the Sussexes. Okay, so that's what I was looking for. So this is the tweet that someone posted, and I wanted to be sure that it was actually her tweet. And so I went to her Twitter and I found this, which is why, you know, I use a white background and the other person uses a black background. But when I saw this, I'm like, oh, yeah, I like her. So, yeah, she really goes there. So, of course, I'm following her now. Let us just ponder this for a moment. You know, this is like my favorite photo of her. I don't know what I don't know what it is about this photo. Is it the multiple hair colors all at once? Is it that very dazed and yet sinister look in her eyes? But I'm telling you, sometimes I see this and I get so tickled when I see it. Um, is she pleased with herself or is she not understanding the conversation going on around her? There's so many ways to look at that. It's like, as they say, the Mona Lisa has that enigmatic smile. Well, she has that dazed and confused, rather disturbed, yet somewhat sinister look. And every time I look at it, I always see something different. I mean, I look at her hair and I start singing Muskrat Love. I look at her eyes and I start singing Crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. And then, of course, I look at the rather, how do I say, rather Picasso like effect that is going on there. And anyway, like I say, every time I look, I see something different. So, um, as the Queen once said, recollections may vary. So, you look at it now, and then you come back and you won't recall what you saw the first time. Recollections may vary. Oh. Is that what that is? Is that what I'm seeing? Okay. See what I'm saying? Everybody sees something different. Everybody sees something different. Somebody has let slip the veil, and you see there's something different every time. It's the eyebrows, is disturbed and possessed. Oh man. Okay. I'm done. I just wanted to share that with you. Every so often I just have to I have to roll this one out. I have to roll this one out. Oh my goodness. All right. Look who's back just in time for the coronation. Public wants Queen's former lady in waiting to return to work after a race row poll show. So Susan Hussey is coming back. And just I told you guys just in time for the coronation. Matter of fact, I'm the one who made this caption a couple weeks ago. Just in time for the coronation. And right there, I saw it today. Susan Hussey accompanies the king to church in return to royal fold. And so rather than make a big announcement, they invited her to come to church under the expectation that she won't turn into a bat and fly away, or that she won't touch the doorknob and feel like her hand is on fire, any of those things. The real thing was they wanted to make sure that she was indeed a human and not an immortal, so they had to get her into the church and do a little exorcism just to make sure that it's safe to be around her. And now she can go back to work. And there you go, one royal rift healed. They and this solves a lot of things. It makes the royal family look good, which makes Charles look good. And also they have caused poor Fulani to go corporate. She has gotten rid of her African earrings, and she's, a matter of fact, no jewelry, and she's got her hair up in some kind of bun. And I mean, they have just changed her whole look. And then Susan Hussey, just to close the deal, is sitting there with her Black Panther turtlenecks on and her pencil skirt. And of course, who's ever seen somebody that age wear pantyhose with a pattern in it like that? But there she is. She's wearing her patterned bespoke pantyhose, her militant Black Panther turtleneck, or in her case, Gray Panther. And of course, she's wearing a pencil skirt. So she's trying to be a little more fly and ethnic. And of course, Fulani is trying to tone down her usual Afrocentric appearance. So, yeah, they have solved a lot with this. They have solved a lot. It's it just goes to show that they have not run out of tricks. Hussey's next move will be the crypt to continue to be Lizzie's lady in waiting. I'm going to tell you something. She looks she looks pretty robust and healthy. I mean, albeit in a rather, you know, George Washington kind of way. I mean, she does kind of remind me of George Washington, but she seemed to be pretty robust and healthy. She's probably got about another 20 good years left. So Betty's gonna have to wait for her because I'm telling you, that one right there, she seems to be pretty healthy. It's something about a life of privilege that just really extends the years. You know what I mean? All that sitting around eating from the queen's table. Yeah, she'll be all right. Okay. Now, I mentioned earlier that I was going to share with you one of those moments of disrespect. Well, I thought about this because well, let me just show you. I have this in this order, but there you go. Look at there. Do you guys remember when Harry wanted to lay a wreath at the cenotaph? Or actually, he wanted someone to lay a wreath in his name and they refused. Well, look who did get a chance to lay a wreath. Arthur Andrews, Arthur Edwards was the one who laid a wreath for the son. Yes, the photographer that has followed the uh, king and queen around for years, has followed Charles for years, is the one who laid a wreath for the son. Can you believe that? They may not have run out of tricks, but they're definitely running out of people. They're gearing up to kidnap those other royals on the coronation. Well, Shelley L., I just read somewhere today that they're actually going to recruit some teenagers, I think, to, you know, how when the queen had her coronation, they had a canopy that was held by some ministers of some sort for her modesty when they put the sacred oil on her chest. Well, when that part comes for Camilla and Charles, they're going to have children actually holding these like flagpoles that will hold up this canopy so away from the gaze of the congregation and the cameras, they can have the sacred anointed oil applied to their chests away from the cameras. So, or in the public. So that's their ploy to get young people excited about the coronation and about the new king, is to actually bring young people in. Now, I just read that somewhere, but I didn't see it in an official capacity, but it looked like something that was clipped, or should I say, a screenshot from one of the publications. So we'll see. But they are, Harry and Meghan is the biggest part of a much larger puzzle that they're trying to solve before the coronation. That's what I'm trying to say. The biggest pieces, the big prize is to get Harry and Meghan there, but they got a whole bunch of little tricks up their sleeves for the coronation to make it seem more inclusive. But yeah, so right here, Royal Reef Rift. Prince Harry told he can't have Remembrance Day wreath laid at Cenotaph on his behalf in latest sign of royal rift. And then, if that's not an, oh, by the way, KDV, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex and being a member of Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciate it. But yeah, so that is it. They did not want Harry to lay a wreath. And Arthur Edwards, I found out just the other day, was the wreath bearing reporter for the Sun. The Sun, and look at there. That was the Sun that reported it, that broke the story. And there you go. There's a Sun reporter laying a wreath. How cruel and evil can a person be? And then right here, how Queen personally intervened to stop Harry laying a wreath at Cenotaph. The monarch took 2 seconds to decide to ban her grandson from a Remembrance Day ceremony, as any return to royal life for Sussexes is declared dead in the water. Now, notice the writer is Rebecca English. When they really want to do a hatchet job on someone, they always go for Rebecca English. Um, Let me see. Exclusive Palace source said the Queen took all of 2 seconds to make up her mind over the refusal. Remembrance Day Sunday is sacrosanct in the Queen's diary, and nothing happens without her knowledge. Another source said monarch is firmly of the opinion you cannot pick and choose over being in institution. This week saw Harry and Meghan's latest venture. They launched their updated new website, Archwell. So this was from January 2021, 1st January 2021. When she wrote this, Rebecca English, she said, Palace source said, right? Palace source said. And January 2021, at this point, at this point, I'm just not convinced that the Queen had anything to do with this, especially the idea that it took her all of 2 seconds. Now, it took her all of 2 seconds. And then also that it was leaked. This is a briefing. This was a leak from a palace source designed for the maximum amount of humiliation. And then, of course, we know at this time that Harry has been in constant contact with the Queen, and if Philip was still alive, Philip, through the uh, Zoom calls. So it makes me a bit skeptical about how this happened. The Queen's doesn't happen without her knowledge. The Queen doesn't really, or should I say, at that point, wasn't really so actively involved. She, at that point, was watching from a window. The Queen wasn't always, so far removed from this, but, she watched from a window, and I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about it. Not a little skeptical, I'm a lot skeptical about it, but again, it was designed to inflict as much humiliation as possible. Let me see here. Now, right here, Prince William announces detail of inaugural Earthshot Prize Award in London. So this was that big, fat, nothing burger. Oh, let me see here. I'm sorry, I didn't give you guys a. The Queen's words in front of Harry were different from her actions behind Harry's back. She may have loved her grandson, but the monarchy comes before family. Yeah, that's all very true, but I don't think the Queen was really making decisions those last few years. Charles had gained more and more power. He had become a regent in all but name. He had become a regent. And just like William obviously stood right there in front of his grandmother and screamed at the top of his lungs, and his father sat there and lied, and the Queen listened and walked away. That is what a person does when they have no power or no agency. You walk away. And so I can't help but think that at that point that most of these decisions was made by her heir. And we may find out further in the future. I can be completely wrong, but I suspect that those details like that was just not something that she took much time to pay attention to. But again, we may find out later that whether or not that is the case. It's just a matter of whether Harry ever decides to talk about it. Remember, there are more books coming, and he may have further discussion about that. But he already let us know that the Queen wasn't always involved with these decisions. And just because the tabloids say that, oh, it was took her 2 seconds, did it really? Did it really? I wonder about that. Black Queen says when they said Harry couldn't lay a wreath anywhere in the Commonwealth, the entire Commonwealth should have mobilized in solidarity of Harry and laid a wreath in his honor. Yeah, exactly. Anywhere in the Commonwealth. I mean, the I'm just saying the brutal language attacked to that, and it's just like with Lilibeth's name. I hate to believe that something as personal as that to the Queen, that the Queen would have sat back and allowed this furor to unfold over a child's name if she had any kind of control over her life. If she had any kind of control over her life, over her name, her likeness, or any of those things, would she really allow her great granddaughter to be part of this war between the households? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she did. Maybe she did. Maybe she was aware of it. But it makes me wonder, did she really have a full knowledge of this child's naming, and that and also think of it like this: even if Harry was talking to her all the time, things that were out of her control, things that could have caused problems for her, because we've wondered whether or not the Queen was being treated well. I mean, that is something Harry said. I'm just going by Harry's words with that. I want to make sure that she has the right people looking after her. It could be just as, innocent as one thing, or it can be just as sinister as another. So I'm still sorting that out, but I'm not prepared to say definitively that she knew everything that was happening. I mean, it does explain a lot if she did, but I don't know. I mean, what is a person at 94, 95, 96 years old? Where are you at that point? And then also, when did she find out she was terminally ill? So I don't know. It is easy to see it either direction, but it really comes down to personal belief. And at the end of the day, that was still a very old woman who was in poor health. And most of her day to day activities were governed by other people. And she went from would not meet Camilla to please call her the queen consort. How did that happen? 70 years on her 70th day as queen, 70 years or whatever, at her ascension day, then all of a sudden here comes this what was it, memo, decree, announcement saying, yes, please call her consort. Did she write that? I wonder. Dee says the Queen spent 70 years from colonial times to last year. She knew more than one thinks when she said recollections may vary. She knew it would hurt Harry and Meghan. Those who leave are punished. Yeah, that's true. But did she write that? Did she write it? I mean, let's face it. At that point, was that actually something that was written? Maybe the last decision that she made was nobody wears a uniform to Philip's funeral. Maybe that was the last thing she decided. Don't know. I mean, it could, I don't know. I don't know. What is a 90 something year old person who has a very power hungry son that will one day inherit the throne? And up until that point, Charles pretty much had the authority to do whatever. I mean, he was the counsel of state for her. And I think he was the one who, Charles received his own red box. And of course, toward the end, I'm pretty sure they were not sending those red boxes up to Balmoral for her, at least of all, not with anything significant in it. Huh. Let me see here. When they had QET posing in black standing between two white horses and her coat unbuttoned would cause me to raise an eyebrow to possible elder abuse. Marchard, exactly. The the bruising may have been from illness or something else. But when she's out there with her coat open, and then when it was buttoned, it wasn't even buttoned right. That just did not seem like somebody who felt pain at that point. You know, maybe she was over medicated from her illness. Maybe she wasn't altogether there. I mean, when she tried to cut that cake with a sword, um, eh, I thought some of the things were a little bit out of character toward the end. So it'll be interesting to find out, but we won't know anything. If we hear anything otherwise, it is likely to come from Harry. If Harry doesn't discuss it, then we'll never know. Then you have to notice that Harry and Meghan leave their children in the US when they visit the UK, except the one time last year I read that the grandchildren of the monarch are in his custody. Yes, I think all the way up into the number 10 in the line of succession, that the monarch is the custodian. The monarch was the custodian of William and Harry, and now Charles, I believe, would be the custodian, the legal custodian for the kids. I am aware of that, and that is something to think about. That is something to think about. I mean, you know, you could make a case out of anything, as evident by the way the tabloid media has made Princess Diana out to be some type of raving lunatic. So you can make a case out of anything, and I wouldn't put it past them to do something completely nefarious and dodgy like that. And so, if one were to believe that something as evil as that would be possible, that they could try to make a case to, um, you know, where the kids are involved, I think anything is possible. Let's see. Remember, after Harry's secret visit, he expressed concern of those around her. Yeah. And as Harry said in the book, when he called his grandmother and she couldn't talk because one of the, what do you call it, the courtiers, the wasp, the fly, the flea, whatever, when he said she could not talk, he asked a question and she didn't want to answer. And then he says, is he there now? I mean, did that not go through you? Did that not have an effect? Because it affected me. I'm telling you, when I heard that, I listened to the audio, but when I heard that part of the book, I was just like, huh, now that makes sense to me. Just because that was the queen does not mean that at her advanced age that she was always treated well. one of the stories that I heard is that Charles, his courtiers were very disrespectful toward the queen. They said the queen didn't have a good household. She didn't run the house well. There was a rivalry between Clarence House and Buckingham Palace, and that Clarence House was said to have a very low opinion, not only of the household, but of the queen herself. And that the language that they used about the queen and toward the queen was actually them taking their cue from Charles. And if you think Charles is too moral to be that way with his mother, well, think about this. When the queen met with Liz Truss, I began preparing for her death because I saw those photos of her and I'm just like, she looks like death. I think she's going to die soon. If I felt that way, and I know a lot of you all felt that way, then why was Charles not at Balmoral when she died or when she was dying? He wasn't even there. He didn't think it was important enough to be by Mummy's side because he didn't care. Your mother is near death and you're preparing to do an NBC News piece. Seriously? There was always the chance that she could have just died and he wouldn't have been there. And knew enough to be there. Charles, they had to send for him. Charles had to send for him. They had to send for Charles. So what does that tell you? I don't think the last couple of years the Queen was making much by way of decisions. I just don't believe it. How could your mother be in such a state and you're getting ready for a television program? So think about that one for a while. Black Queen says everything Betty got, she deserves. She have many blood on her hands, and karma just caught up with her. Well, there are many people that are in agreement with you, and it's not for me to judge. I'm gonna leave that one alone. But I totally get that though. Um, there's a lot to unpack there, and where anybody in that family is concerned, I don't want to give anybody in that family a free pass, but then at the same time, it's not a traditional family. It's just not a traditional family. And the values and motivations that they have is something that has been bred into them that is not rooted in reality. So I don't know what it's like to be one of them. But that being said, considering how they, conduct themselves, as I said a long time ago, after the Queen goes, I don't see that institution going much further. I think that we're going to see the end of the road for the House of Windsor having, the power that they have. That is going to end soon. But yeah, something to think about. Let's see. Oh, that's not for me. All right, I'll go someplace else. Okay, Joseph Burnell says her hands definitely were not clean. All right. Let me see. Blow up that picture of Queen and Liz Truss. The Queen looks bruised up. Yeah, Compton Caligal. They had a way to try to explain the bruises. They said that the bruises were caused from circulatory problems, but and it does look like someone who was in dire need of hydration. which, again, at that age, there was a lot going on with her health. And I think that she was being kept alive in a situation where most people, they would have, they would have just withheld treatment. Yeah, blood thinners. They said that she had, like, her circulatory system was like collapsed, and that she was on high doses of blood thinner. Okay, let me see, Baron. The he, she was a man, woman of their time, doesn't fly. Decency, humanity, and the right thing transcends time and place. Okay, Mary Seco, thank you for that. And Catherine Bryan says, let me see, I don't see anyone saying she was innocent, but the end of her life, I believe, was she was being abused. And in my family, you respect your elders. Yeah. That's, yeah. Like I said, I can only say it what I see. And the way I see it is that I just don't think that by the end of her life, whether she was a good person or bad, whether she deserved this or that, by the end of her life, like so many people, she didn't have much control over things. And wouldn't that be interesting to think that somebody with as much wealth and power as the queen would end up in the same position as someone in a care home? But it seems like that's the case, is that she did not have any license over her body or anything. Everything was decided at that point. And maybe she was glad to give up that authority. Maybe she was glad to not function in that role. Um, you know what? I've seen many accounts of that. And I know she was at the what is that, Osborne House on the Isle of Man. She was at the Osborne House, and that she was bedridden, and her grandsons came to visit, and then pretty soon they were all at war with each other. But yeah, I don't recall exactly what the last hours were, but um, I know that it was a lot of things that happened, like her daughter burned her letters and or her diaries or whatever, and she wrote a lot. So yeah, you're gonna make me go and look into that again. Let me see here. The royal family was raised like they was part of the Hunger Games. Many women, I'm sorry, man, woman, child for themselves. Every man, woman, child for herself, for themselves. Yeah. Yep. And I guess that's why there's the curiosity, is because it is so unconventional. And I always tell people, never look at them as a family. That's a big mistake, is to look at them as a family. They're not a family, not in a traditional sense. IV drip, yes. Okay, I'm just going back to look at a few of these. Okay. Ever thinks about is his, okay, protecting those Parker Bowles stepchildren with millions in trust funds for them. And I wonder if that's because he's afraid of what William will do. Miss S says the only way that things will change is if all of the mouthpieces and decision makers are fired, and the family orientate people orientated people are put in place. Maybe then Charles can consider trusting. I'm sorry, Charles. Harry can consider trusting them again. Okay. Uh okay. Now I've heard someone say that earlier. Um mm, I think they were satisfied with two. I think they even said that two was the number. And oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't. I mean, because we've gone longer periods without seeing Meghan, and it was just that she was not available to the public. So I've heard people make discussion of that. Boy, wouldn't it be nice to announce that just in time for the coronation? Wouldn't it be nice to announce that just in time for the coronation? Huh. Interesting. Um. Oh, that's what happened to Victoria. Really? Now I thought that happened to George the Fifth. Didn't that happen to George the Fifth? Or was it George the Sixth? Spent more time with William and his teens, teaching him that never Charles was teaching George the Fifth, Mary, George. Okay. Um. Well, you know what? You know what? Um. So far, people have not done a lot of conspiracy theories about that. And I'm kind of hoping they do because I love a good conspiracy theory. I don't always believe them, but I do love a good conspiracy theory. So, um, mm, well, I mean that should be interesting. That should be interesting. But like Harry said, I just wanted to make sure she had the right people looking after her. And then we read in the book about the bee, the fly, and the wasp. So recollections may vary, but I don't suspect any of those what do you call those things, the memos or any of that stuff. I don't think the queen has written any of that stuff for years before she died. I really don't. Um I think the last thing that well, I'm just saying, I have no proof, but I think the last thing she had anything to do with was Philip's funeral. And then after that, it was all Charles. And the Queen has spent the night in the hospital. Um, she had spent the night in the hospital, and they didn't say why, but she had went in for a test, and they ended up keeping her. I think from that point that she knew that she was sick. I think at that point she knew she was sick. Meghan knew that once the book came out, they would have tried to blame her for anything they didn't like. They swore up and down that Meghan was writing it. You know, I heard that before the book came out, but then after the book come out, then they didn't say anything about Meghan being the writer of the book. But I remember before that, especially Angela Levin, she was the main perpetrator saying that Meghan was going to write the book. Let me see. Poor Meghan's um, girly parts will never. Oh man. The Duchess is doing her own thing and not worried about what people are doing. I wouldn't have thought twice about it, except for the press kept saying, "Where's Meghan? Where's Meghan?" I don't expect to see either one of them until I see them, and that's it. I I just don't. I don't expect to see either one of them until I see them, and that's that. Um, when they make an appearance, they make an appearance. Harry did not have a book tour. Harry went to New York and he came back. There was no book tour. So Other than that, people just came to him. They came to the mountain. Let me see. Baron, that witch had no plan to give up power. She planned to reign until her broomstick ran out of gas, like it did a couple of months ago. Woo! Oh man, boy, you guys just don't give an inch, do you? Well, I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. Oh, it's on the Isle of Wight. Is that right? Not the Isle of Man. Oh, thank you, Elaine Parker. But yeah, you guys don't give an inch, and that's fine. Stand your ground, fight your corner. I how dare I try to humanize Her Majesty? Let me see here. Right. They're going to say she's overexposed. And why is she touching her stomach? And why is her hands in her pocket? And why wait, is that a avocado in your hand or is that a weapon? It's always going to be something. It's always going to be something. But yeah, is that an avocado or is that a copy of Spare? The press needs to see Meghan so they can have something to write about. They're running on dry. And it also is to discourage people from talking about that book. They don't want people talking about that book. Okay, you guys, I'm going to move on because I need to try to wrap this up. Where was I? Okay, so Prince William announced details of inaugural Earthshot Prize Award in London. So that was back in June 2021. And then here you see Earthshot Prize review. Move over, Harry. Big Brother has a planet to protect. Now, since this and this, a lot has happened. You know what's happened? Everything has happened for the Sussexes, and for the Cambridges, not a lot has happened. I think the only thing of monumental occurrence that has happened is that I actually fixed that cartoon image of him and made sure that his hairline was in the correct stance. But other than that, not a lot has happened for them. Earthshot was a big Earth flop. The child initiative seems to still be getting up off the ground. The trip to Boston, which was supposed to be the Super Bowl of, matter of fact, did we ever find out what the Super Bowl of was? Was it the Super Bowl of the environment? The Super Bowl of, what Super Bowl was it? Because we were told that it was supposed to be a Super Bowl, but we don't know what Super Bowl it was. But whatever Super Bowl it was some kind of Super Bowl event, which means that you had a Super Bowl game, you had the mid time show, the middle show, but you didn't have the players. Now, if I recall, most Super Bowl games, they actually invite the teams to participate, right? And they also invite the halftime act to participate. So how could this be a Super Bowl of like a Super Bowl equivalent if you don't allow the players in the stadium? You don't even allow the players to leave home. So if I guess the moral of the story is if you ever need to plan a Super Bowl game, don't let Kensington Palace or anybody from the Royal Foundation do it. Otherwise, you'll have a lovely halftime act, but you won't have any players. You won't have a game. So that's the equivalent of, yes, it was a Super Bowl of green screen. But that's what they said. They were trying to hype it up, and that this was. Look at those two faces right there. Look at those two faces. Is there anything about the two of them that is so exciting? Is there anything that is so exciting about them that tens of millions of Americans are going to tune in so that they can find out that there's something pretending to be a Super Bowl like event, but the players are not involved. Yes. Okay. Oh, man. Why do they even bother? I don't even know why they get out of bed. They should just, well, anyway, as I said, they're tired, they're exhausted, they have put in more hours of work in the past couple weeks than they have in the past few years. They're going to need to go lay down somewhere. Kitty's going to have to head off to her vacation retreat for 30, 60 to 90 days. And William is going to have to fly off to his other home, his undisclosed home. He's going to have to fly off and go to his undisclosed home. And then we won't see them for a while. Big Mama says, Baron, they went to a food bank empty handed. Who does that? You always bring something when you go to a food bank. You know, maybe they just don't want to start a precedence that they don't want to finish. Because if they bring an apple, they're going to have to bring an orange. And if they bring an orange, they're going to have to bring bananas. And they really don't want to bring anything because they don't want people to get used to the idea that they're going to show up with something. Either that or they're just stupid. Even Charles donated some refrigerators to a few shelters. I mean, this man is a billionaire now. Maybe it hasn't sunk into him that he's a billionaire. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he is so busy trying to keep up with Harry that he hasn't figured out that the Duchy of Cornwall has $1 billion portfolio. William is a billionaire now. As soon as his grandmother took her last breath, the Duchy of Cornwall uh, reverted to him. When his grandmother took her last breath, the Duchy of Lancaster went to Charles. Now, so Charles is still a billionaire, and William is a billionaire for the first time. Now, if he just play the game right, before you know it, people are going to start bringing him bags of cash. All he has to do is sit still and wait for them to bring them bags of cash. He's in good shape right now. So he should have brought something. I'm pretty sure that he has an Amex Black card now, or whatever card he uses. I'm sure he got something. So yeah, that's kind of dumb. I mean, real dumb. Thank you, Big Mama. And not only was it dumb, it was just ignorant. This man is a billionaire, and he shows up empty-handed. He's not the Duke of Cambridge anymore. He is the Prince of Wales, which comes with $1 billion fortune. And he act like he's a pauper. Now you already then shook down your grandmother and got an $8 million helicopter. Surely you can bring a couple of bags of McDonald's or something. Go and bring crates of potatoes or something. No, he just shows up with Cate. Oh man, God save them from themselves because they truly don't know what they're doing. How do you sit on top of $1 billion or £1 billion and don't even acknowledge that? I thought Meghan might be, I don't want to say it when I saw her. I didn't. But yeah, it did have that interesting pleat in the front. The British press needs Meghan. They'll do what they do to make stuff up. Okay, now that you've made me think white dress, now that you've made me think about that, oh man. Well, it would give her time to write her book. CNN is going to air Charles' coronation 24/7 despite his unpopularity and CNN declining ratings. Well, as bad a shape as CNN is right now, that might be what they need, is to have some coverage like that, because CNN has gone down the tubes. They don't have any good, like, personalities. They need, like, some real reporters. I think the only thing they have is is it Wolf Blitzer? Is he still there? And Anderson Cooper, right? Other than that, they don't really. Gosh, who watches CNN? Who watches any of those channels right now? I mean, they're going to get some ratings when the political season starts, but right now they're in trouble. Okay, so the egg has tried so desperately to compete with Harry, which is the point that I was going to make, is that he tried so hard to compete with Harry, and it hasn't worked out for him. And so he has nothing else to do with his time but read Spare and become incandescent with rage. And yeah, I mean, he's losing. It's interesting that you could have $1 billion portfolio and still be a loser, but that is the case. William, score zero for William and scored what? Who knows how much for Harry? But William, for someone in his position, has failed again. The trip to the Caribbean, where they lost half the Commonwealth, the Earth flop 2 times. That has been a huge failure. Zero ratings. Nobody was interested. And then, of course, once Spare comes out, it confirms what a lot of people knew already, is that he's a big bully. So wherever William goes and whatever he does, people are going to remember Spare. Spare has already cost a lot of points for their popularity. And I forgot to do a slide for this, you guys, but did you guys know that they are blaming Spare for an uptick of Republicans in Australia? They said because of Spare, and I don't believe that, by the way, but it's fun to think about. They said because of Spare, that more Australians than ever are interested in leaving the Commonwealth. That's what they say. They want to become a republic. They do not want to have Charles as head of state. I say that they didn't want Charles for a long time anyway, but now it's official that, well, not official, but I saw some time ago that over 50% of the public wanted to have a referendum to leave the Commonwealth. So I'm not going to blame that on Spare. But if I thought Spare had anything to do with it, I would run out there in the street in my boxers and dance a jig in celebration. So, yeah, good for them. Good for the egg. And you know what else? Good for me, because I am done, done, done. I am so done, you guys. Thank you so much. And you guys that need to get to bed, go ahead, because I am done for today. Just small talk and light banter for the rest of this evening. Um, I know I would love for Bishop Curry to be there. Let me see. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's not for me. Oh, okay, right here. There we go. Laurie says Willie is trying to get Earthflop to the Invictus level, which will never happen because Harry has charisma. He came up with the concept himself and did not steal the idea from someone else. Exactly. Exactly. As a matter of fact, I believe the Invictus Games, aside from the Paralympics, I think that's like the next biggest event. And one of these days, it may even eclipse the Paralympics. So we'll see. It is getting bigger by the day. And plus, there's so many nations that have not addressed, that type of rehabilitation for their wounded warriors. And it is a certain community that would help them, through their rehabilitation because of the competitive nature of it and because of the camaraderie. Is certain things that modern medicine just cannot duplicate or replicate. So that's why these games are so important, is that people, yes, they do heal somewhat from whatever has happened, but the way that people that compete in the Invictus games speak of how it has given them new meaning. And of course, we heard the stories of how many people who didn't want to be here anymore, and then they hear about this Invictus game, and all of a sudden they have a new lease on life. So I think it's just going to become so huge. And this year in particular, the Invictus game is going to reign supreme. So Earth Flop is just that. It is going to be a huge flop. Let's see. Reminder: there is a book offer for Spare. The first of 3 to email Baron with a shipping address will be gifted by Sister and Cece. Okay, so let me put that in the top of the chat. Okay, the first 3 people. I am going to forward that information, and you are going to have your um, Spare on the way. So let me see how. Oh, where is that dang blasted? Let me see. Now I want to pin this to the top of the chat. There are 4, but someone emailed already. Oh yeah. Okay, so 3. Okay, yeah, 3. How come I don't see that link? Right? I don't see that link. I want to pin it to the top of the chat. Oh, there it is. I see it now. Okay, it is pegged to the top of the chat. So, again, you guys, that is the email. If you do not have your copy of Spare yet, and you would like to receive one from Sister and Cece, here is your opportunity, because the next okay, so I got a second email from that same person, so there's still 3. Okay, so person who just emailed me during the live, I got both your emails here, and I see you have added an address, so you're good, and we just need 3 more. So go ahead and do those emails. And okay, I guess we don't have to stay on for that, but yeah. So I will monitor that and forward the information, um, and you'll get your Spare. Okay. Let me see. The monarchy will be abolished, and Chucky and William's spending habits will limit their funds after trying to maintain all those old households and stuff. Well, yeah, if they get rid of that feudal system of landlord and become a proper corporation, well, with their intellect and ability, they'll run out of money fast. Now, Charles has an endless supply of money from some pretty dodgy people who'll get bags of money, but William, he'll probably get the money and throw it back in their face or something in a fit of rage, or knock them down and break a dog dish or something. Yeah. Okay. Oh, really? Okay. Well, again, the email is there. So, okay, I see 1, 2 more emails. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3. One more. One more. Whoever has the next email, then that's it. And yeah, if there's one more person up, I think we got it. All right, so that's 4. So no more emails, you guys. I got the last one. Okay. All right, so now it's 5. I'm gonna take care of the last one myself and send the money to somebody to do it for me. Well, that's it. No more emails. Okay, now we got 5 of them, so we're good. Okay, all right. We're good. So no more emails, you guys. Please, no more emails. So now we got 5 of them, and somehow I do the last one myself. I might be able to do it myself. I may not need anybody to help me with that. Okay. And you know how good my memory is. You know you'll get it by July. You know how my memory works. By July, you are going to have your copy of Spare, or is it October? Yes, by October, you are going to have your copy of Spare. I promise. Christmas Spare. Just remember that. Christmas Spare in time for the new year. Because my mind is like a steel trap. It's like a lockbox. I never ever forget. Yes, Charles, Lambert, we got that earlier. Thank you so much. I did get it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And and it's going to be all taken care of, I'm sure. I hope. Oh man. But you know what, guys? If I was more organized, wouldn't you think I was an imposter? If this was any more organized than what it is, you would think you were on the wrong live stream. So that there's no confusion, I just had to keep effing up like I always do, and then you'll know you're home, right? Right. Um all the hemming and hawing and laughing and bland as a bat, then you know you're home. Oh, by the way, I found out there's an eye center at Costco. So I need to find out if I need to make an appointment, but I found out there's an eye center at Costco. So not only can I get some new eyewear, I could also buy a chicken larger than my head. So I can get a whole baked chicken, rotisserie chicken, and some new glasses, all in the same place. One stop shopping. Okay. Okay. All right, you guys. Are we good now? Are we good? Did I admonish enough people? Right? I think so. I think they got the message. I think they got the message. They won't darken our doorstep ever again. Trust me when I say that. They don't want none of this. They don't want this smoke. Oh man. Let me see here. All right, I think we're good. Well, with that, you guys, I am going to look for a last comment. I'm going to look for a last comment. Let's see. Charles is desperate to present a positive image of himself, but William, who can't hide his jealousy and hatred for his brother and sister-in-law, will never come to any terms of endearment. Yeah, you know what, guys? God will do for us what we cannot do for ourselves. And as much as I hate that the Sussexes were forced to leave, it was the right call. And as much as I hated the no half in, no half out, it was the right call. God has a plan. God has a plan. God always has a plan. And that was the best possible outcome. Now, as for the acts of humiliation and contempt, even that may somehow yield a better situation, because that institution is exposing themselves as being, dare I say, an evil institution. It takes a certain kind of evil to conjure up so many ways to damage and humiliate a person. I mean, is as though the Tower of London is open for business. The torturous humiliation, embarrassments, leaks, the lies, all of those things that they're capable of is all the reasons why they don't deserve to have that institution anymore. They should just take their money, go to the countryside, live the lives of, you know, former royals or deposed royals, whatever you want to call it. And that's that. But they don't deserve the power that they have. And that the public, so many people in the public are okay with the abusive nature of raising the heirs, that is so disturbing. That it's a matter of public record, something that is no less than abuse. It is abuse, pitting one child against the other in a way that, you know, does happen in every family, but this is public. This is public humiliation. Your trip to the bathroom is a matter of public record. Stagger home drunk, public record. Anything is a matter of public record. Skin your knee, cut your hair, it's a matter of public record. And from the spare, the way Harry spoke about the many occasions where things were leaked to the press, even while he was a child, they were leaking things to the press. He injured his hand, and they make it sound like he's on life support. Anything to help his father. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve that institution. If the rest of Europe, most of Europe, has gotten along without the old royal households, I'm pretty sure they'll be fine too. Um, and then we can just cast the memories to the dustbin of history. I mean, think about this. The Queen was probably the most famous person in the world longer than anybody else for the period that she was alive. And yet, having died last September, um, there's nobody has much to say. We couldn't figure out what she did for 70 years. And then on top of that, um, it's like life has moved on. There's trucks rumbling past the grave right now. There's people laughing and shopping right there on the high street next to Windsor Castle, where she's laying for all eternity. And nobody is thinking about it. It's amazing how fast people forget. So life will go on, and life is going to go on without the royal family. At some point, they will. And whether or not it's in our lifetime, I hope it is. I hope I can see the end of it. Okay. So let me see. I believe it was, there it is. So Mo Shannon says, live, laugh, love, life. And by the way, Mo Shannon, can you please send me your email, because I wanted to do the, what do you call it? The audiobook for you, but I don't, the email I have doesn't work. So please put that in my messenger. Yeah, send it to my messenger, and that'll give me something to do later. And I'm saying it now because I might forget. I need triggers to stay on message. So there you go. All right, so I'm gonna go, you guys. Thank you so much. Marshar, are you really gonna say something about Notre Dame at this hour? All right, let's have at it. Baron, Notre Dame was right when her prediction, or his prediction, right, that Harry would become king in 2023. Spare has made him that king. The world see the monarchy for what it is now. Abolish the monarchy. All right. I like a good Notre Dame. Yes, and he is the king. No matter who's the sovereign, Harry is the king. Thank you for that, Marshar. And thank you, Notre Dame. All right. Now we good with that very eerie prediction. Although, I mean, to become the real sovereign, to be the sovereign, the Windsors would have to have a really bad day. So I'm not wishing that on anybody, but uh, let me see here. hmm The sooner the better. Well, I know I said I was going to get off here, but one thing that I have to agree about is that having the Queen as a figurehead for 70 years held the country back. And it's really interesting that as the Queen went into decline, that the country also has gone into decline. Since 2016, they had the Brexit vote in 2016, right? And as much as they want to blame Meghan for everything, in 2016, they had the Brexit vote. And since 2016, the economy, the morale, everything has been in a downward spiral. And maybe it is that which is going to be the end of the monarchy, because money, money, as they always say during the presidential election. You guys remember that motto from the presidential election? Anybody remember that? I think they used it for Bill Clinton. I think it's what, a two-word phrase? Two-word phrase, anybody? Two-word phrase for the presidential election. Well, no, it's more. It's 4 words. 4 words. Yes, there it is. LDSW. It's the economy, stupid. Exactly. And that will spell the end of that institution, is the economy. It's the economy, stupid. That is what they said. Okay, so here's the thing with that. I want to make sure that I'm not giving anybody's personal name. So I'll just do the initials because I want to make sure that these people are not. Okay, so if your initials are GS, KA, VD. Wait a minute. Did y'all keep adding more um I'm doing this from, chronological order. GS, KA, VD, DE, and DI. Now, I told y'all stop sending emails. And I know for sure 2 of these came in after I said stop sending emails. Now, all I'm going to say about those other 2 is I'm going to do the best I can. If somebody else don't send them off, you ain't going to get them, because I'll do what I can. I'll do what I can. 2 new emails. I'll do what I can. But yeah, so JJ and GSA. Those are those other two. Now, after that, that's it. No more emails. Oh, Lord. All right. Okay. I'm going to go because now I got some more work to do tonight. Um, right. Because you know what? I put stars on the other emails to make sure that I saw them. And those last two don't even have stars. Now they have stars. I'm not putting a star on nothing else. So no more emails. And see, I'm a good one because y'all know I don't be paying attention. So, but that one I caught. Uh-oh. Wait. I got to do it. Notre Dame said things will get very bad in 2023 before it got better. Well, it's pretty bad in the UK. The monarchy is a cause. The hard times there. I mean, has caused a hard time, right? And they got to go. So they got to go. All right, Marshar. Well, I tell you, Marshar, when you pray, I mean to tell you, this live stream turns into a tabernacle. I'm glad I'm on your good side. Something tells me you got a Notre Dame for everybody in life, but please don't Notre Dame me, Marshall. I promise you, I am your friend. Do not Notre Dame me. Um, whatever you do, don't Notre Dame me, please. Let me see. Marshall, I love the avatar. It is nice, isn't it? I love it. Okay, so I think we're good now. Okay, all right, and that's why I'm your friend. That's why I'm your friend. Is the email the same as your name? Because I don't see it. Uh, yeah, is your email the same as your name? Because I didn't see that one. Yeah, I didn't see that one. So I don't know if the email is the same as that you same as your YouTube. So it's GSKA and well I can say K1A1 K1A1 uh VDDEDIJJ and GSA. Those are the initials. Those are the ones that I received. So I had the one from earlier, and then I got the other ones while I was on. Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Those are for tonight. Those are for tonight. Yeah, all of the emails that I mentioned were for tonight, not from any other time. Yeah, I'm sorry if I've confused things. Um, well, I mean, I'm looking, I don't see it for any other days either. So, ooh, I don't know. I don't see it from any other days either. Okay. Well, with that, we better go. All right. So, thank you very much, everybody, and thank you for your cooperation. And oh, thank you, Sistren, for the donation. Um, and thank you for helping me donate. If somebody helped me with that. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Thank you guys. It's almost 3 hours, so I need to cue the ginger avenger. And as always, our queens, our beautiful, beautiful, lovely queens. And then Q, Ginger Avenger, and see y'all tomorrow. And to think I thought I was going to be off of here in 1 hour tonight. Just think about that. How did that happen? Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I see Charles and Camilla, William too. I saw Cate, she stepped on my shoe, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Bye, y'all.